Hello and welcome. I'm Exit Lights and this is my channel. Today I'm going to tell you about a missing man who went missing on Halloween, October 31st of this year. Before we get started, if you guys would please remember to give this video a thumbs up. Helps my channel. If you're not subscribed, please do so. And if you guys leave comments, that really helps my channel as well. I'm going to put up some of my jewelry at the end. I know. But if you do choose to buy something from me, please come here and drop me a note and tell me, or a message there and tell me so that I can thank you personally on here. All right, let's go. He kissed his family goodbye for a quick hunting trip, and now he's been missing since October 31st. Devon Dobek texted back home on Friday, October 31st, that he had just caught a deer and he was headed back. Dobek is an experienced hunter, and it was not uncommon for him to go into Mount Hood National Forest in Oregon to hunt. He knew what he was doing, and he had the right gear. It was a routine trip for him. He was 51 years old. He was an avid hunter, but this time he hasn't made it home. It's not a strange thing for somebody to go missing, whether they're in a national forest or out running errands. However, it is scarier in the national forest than if you were at your local Kroger store, because the National Forest Service stops looking for you. Where if you were taken off the street, it would be an ongoing case. Concerns grow the longer that someone remains missing. It's reported that the text about the deer is the last that anyone heard from Dobek, and it has been the crux of a massive search. Expert described this particular terrain as a nightmare because of the sheer lack of the ability to navigate this. The missing report was filed at 6:20 p.m. that same night, and by 10:30 p.m., the Clackamas County Search and Rescue Team was already on the trail. Earlier this week, there were high winds and fog that hampered the effort, which is also not unusual for a missing person in the national forest. Despite this, search and rescue teams from multiple agencies soldiered on for days on end. And after more than 100 personnel participated in the search and rescue over the weekend, dozens of people continued showing up to volunteer each day during the work week. In total, more than 4,000 personnel hours were spent combing the area of the Mount Hood National Forest surrounding Dobek's vehicle, which had been discovered. It was found near Fish Creek Trailhead off of SE Highway 224 and 54 Road, but it had no sign of Dobek or the deer, and if he had made it back to his truck, there would have been some indication of him hauling the deer, but there was no evidence of that. The difficult terrain included areas that had been damaged by a 2020 wildfire, and it also has bad cell service. Clackamas County Search and Rescue began the search on Friday around 10:30 with reports of gunshots being heard, though the exact source was never found. The National Guard, Air Force Reserves, drone teams, Clackamas County Sheriff's Office, search and rescue volunteers, Hood River Craig Rats, and other agencies and volunteer groups all participated in this search. Helicopters, cell phone tracking specialists, K9 units, and ATVs also helped. It is reported that they heard 3 gunshots, which is how a hunter or somebody who has a firearm that's hiking notifies somebody if they're hurt, lost, something's wrong. It's an SOS. On Wednesday, ground crews cited unfavorable conditions, creating safety concerns, with high winds causing falling trees and limbs in some of the areas. Fog also interfered with visibility, ending a planned drone search that day. Unfavorable weather conditions continued into Thursday. Clackamas County office said that additional searches may resume if new information or evidence is discovered, but they have stopped the search. Anyone with information about Dobek is encouraged to contact the Clackamas County Sheriff's Office. It's always surprising to me that the searches for somebody in a national forest or national park is stopped so soon. It is the prime place for a serial killer to do their hunting because the search is going to be called off. And that's it. If nothing's ever found, nothing's ever found, and that's just it. It would not be that way if you were driving in your car to the grocery store. It would not be that way if you were walking out of a bar and suddenly disappeared. There's two different sets of standards here. And I think it's so frightening to know that if you're in that position, you have a very, very limited time for somebody to find you. Then they had all these people, 4,000 man hours. Where is he? Where's the deer? Nothing has been found. Thank you for coming to my channel. If you would please leave messages below and tell me what you think. And hang on for a couple seconds and I'll show you a couple things that I have in my store. Good night.